Protests ignite as hundreds take to the streets at the Virginia Beach oceanfront, joining protests across the country following the death of George Floyd. What started as a peaceful demonstration last night grew tense as the night progressed. Things wrapped up early this morning, and that is where we find News 3 reporter Anthony Sabella live with a look at what is the aftermath. Anthony, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Todd. So now we're at the intersection of Atlantic Avenue and 18th Street, and this is a lot of what we're seeing here this morning assessing this damage. You can see the windows busted out of this restaurant here, Harvest, and we've seen this at storefronts up and down Atlantic Avenue. You know, we've seen the city's street sweepers trying to clean up what they can, but they really can't hide what's been done to these businesses here at the oceanfront. And you know, what makes this especially sad is the fact that this protest started out fairly peacefully, very peacefully, actually. You can see this sign here. It says "I can't breathe" written on this protest, joining others in our area as well as across the country in honor of George Floyd. He is the black man in Minneapolis that was killed by a white police officer. We've seen protests all across the country since then. Now, I want to give you an idea of what this protest kind of looked like last night here. This is how it started, as I mentioned, very peacefully with marchers, a couple hundred of them walking up and down Atlantic Avenue. Police say at some point in the evening, a small faction of protesters broke off and started engaging in what they call criminal activity, and police, they arrived in tactical gear. And we know at some point they used tear gas to disperse this crowd, but this went on for hours. We know that our crew that was here on site last night saw protesters throwing rocks at police officers. Obviously, some of those rocks hitting the windows of these businesses as well. Flames were set. A fire was set in the middle of Atlantic Avenue. The fire department had to take care of that. So things, again, starting out peacefully, but escalating as the night went on. And as I mentioned, this went on for several hours. Police finally tweeting out shortly after 2 o'clock this morning that everybody had dispersed and they had given the all clear. And so now this is where we are now. We've seen a couple of folks coming out to the businesses this morning and assessing the damage, just kind of shaking their heads, you know, after everything that happened. And so as of right now, police are asking visitors and the folks who live here in the city to kind of stay away from this area as they continue to move through and assess the damage. As I mentioned, we've seen street sweepers moving up and down the street, cleaning things up. We've seen a lot of police here this morning, a heavy police presence as well, just keeping an eye on things. So this is a story we're going to continue to follow. We're going to continue moving up the street and assessing the damage. We'll be sure to catch up with you a little bit later here on News 3. For now, though, live at the Virginia Beach oceanfront, I'm Anthony Sabella. We'll send it back to you.